Students, today I do 2.3 of Nationalism in Europe, which speaks about the period after which Napoleon is defeated. Now, Napoleon was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, and after that, the Europeans, they wanted again a return to the conservative regime. Now, who are conservatives? Conservatives believed that the established traditional institutions, what was already there in state and society, which was there since ages, like monarchy, church, social hierarchy, property, family, all this must be preserved. They wanted this to be there. But again, there was one major change in their thinking, and that was they did not want to go back to a society as it was during the pre-revolutionary days. They didn't want to go back to society as it was before 1789, for they had realized that the changes which Napoleon had brought about, all this modernization, these reforms, these changes which Napoleon had made, could strengthen monarchy. It could make the state power effective and strong. How? What changes? One is the army should be modern, a modern army, a dynamic economy. Dynamic economy means where your trade and business does very well, an efficient bureaucracy, and abolition of feudalism and serfdom. These things, 1, 2, 3, 4 and this fifth, could make the autocratic monarchies of Europe much more stronger. So this was the belief of the conservatives during 1815. We are speaking of the period after 1815. Now what happened was the Treaty of Vienna, a very, very, very vital part. Now, Vienna Treaty was signed in 1815. Who signed it? It was signed by these European powers, Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria. They had all come together to collectively defeat Napoleon. All these four powers, Britain, Russia, Prussia and Austria, they met at this place called Vienna to draw up a settlement, to have a settlement for Europe. Who hosted this meeting? It was hosted by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. Now what was the aim? What was the objective of the Vienna Treaty? Napoleon is defeated and gone. But then too, why they want this Vienna Treaty? They wanted it, the aim was to undo, that is remove, most of the changes in Europe which had happened during the Napoleonic Wars. So all these changes which had happened during the Napoleonic Wars, they wanted to erase it. They wanted to remove it, undo it. What were the changes? First was the Bourbon dynasty, which had been removed during the French Revolution, was brought back to power. So the Bourbons came back to power. France lost its territories. France lost all their territories which they had annexed under Napoleon. A series of states were set up on the boundaries of France so that in the future there will be no expansion. So in order to protect themselves, they set up a series of states around the boundaries of France so that France in the future could not expand. What were these boundaries? What were these states? Kingdom of Netherlands, in which Belgium was included, was set up in the north. So Kingdom of Netherlands, in which Belgium was included, was set up in the north. In the south, Genoa was added to Piedmont. So in the south, Genoa added to Piedmont. Prussia was given important territories on its western front. Austria given control of North Italy. But the German Confederation of 39 states which had been set up by Napoleon and which we knew was his masterstroke. So that German Confederation of 39 states was left untouched. And this had been done by Napoleon, but this they did not touch. To the east, Russia was given part of Poland. Prussia was given part of Saxony. So these are the series of states. You have to remember this. Kingdom of Netherlands, to which Belgium added. South, Genoa plus Piedmont. Then Prussia, territories on Western Front. Austria, North Italy was given to it. And East, and then this Prussia. What was left untouched? The German Confederation of 39 states set up by Napoleon. Now, what was the main idea behind this Vienna Treaty? There are two. Restore the monarchies that had been overthrown by Napoleon. Bring back all those monarchies which Napoleon had removed. And second, create a new conservative order in Europe. Bring back conservatism, but a new conservative order. So this is your Vienna Treaty, a 3-mark or a 5-mark question. First remember the date, then remember which were the European powers who met, where they met, Vienna, who hosted this meeting. It was hosted by this Austrian Chancellor Metternich, Duke Metternich. What is its aim? Remove the changes which had happened during the Napoleonic Wars in Europe. And then you'll remember all these changes. And last, what was the main idea? So this was your Treaty of Vienna. Now you come to what happened after 1815. Conservative regime has come. So what has happened? Now how was Europe after 1815 when you had this conservative rule? The conservative regimes after 1815 were very autocratic. This comes as a 3-mark question. Or the conservative regimes, you explain or describe them after 1815. Remember the date, 1815. So conservative regimes set up after 1815 were very autocratic. They did not tolerate. They just did not tolerate dissent. Anybody rebelling was not tolerated. Did not tolerate criticism. Nobody could say anything against them. So did not tolerate dissent and criticism. They tried to curb means control, put a stop. Tried to curb activities which question the legitimacy of autocratic governments. Anybody who questioned that what the autocratic government is doing, is it right? Is it done? That they did not tolerate. They tried to curb it, control activities which would question the legitimacy, the legality, the lawfulness of these autocratic governments. Imposed censorship laws. Always, anybody who wants to control anybody, any regime, they'll always have censorship laws. So this was also here. Imposed censorship laws to control what was said in newspapers, songs, plays and books, and which spoke about liberty, freedom, these ideas which the French Revolution had given. So if anybody spoke about these things, it was not tolerated. Then the conclusion is that the memory of the French Revolution inspired the liberals. And the major issue which these liberal nationalists who criticized the conservative regime, what was the major issue they took up? It was freedom of the press. So this is your 3-marker. After 1815, explain the conservative regimes. Autocratic, what did they not tolerate? What did they curb? Your censorship laws, and your conclusion is very important, that French Revolution memory continued to inspire the liberals, and the major issue they took up was freedom of the press. So this, students, is your 2.3 of nationalism in Europe. It all deals with 1815, after Napoleon is defeated. What are the changes in Europe? Okay, so happy learning. Thank you.